So what I've done first is just fry a few pieces of bread in some olive oil, because this is going to be the base for the first bean dish that we're going to do for you today, which is called Scarola e fagioli, escarole and beans on bread. So you have to have an absolutely wonderful looking head of escarole. Now here is escarole. This is a curly endive. It's a bitter tasting vegetable. And here I have some escarole that I've cleaned. So I'm going to take the escarole just the way it is and put it right into my pan, just like that, and wilt this down. I'm not going to add any extra water, and then I'm going to cover that. And this isn't going to take very long, just a few minutes to wilt down, because there is a lot of water in the escarole to begin with. We're going to be using white kidney beans, and this is the way you buy them when they're dry. You just go to the grocery store and you get them in a package, like a pound package of kidney beans, or if you didn't want to use these, you could use great white northern beans. And here's what happens when you get them home. You have to soak them. You have to put them in water, and the best thing to do is to put them in water and soak them overnight. And then the next day you cook them, and you want to cook them just until you can take the bean and it's soft in your hand, that the skin actually comes off. So you want to make sure that you can get the skin off the bean and it's soft. You don't want it mushy. So these are ready to go. So now I can drain these. So I'm just going to take them over to the sink and drain them. And now we're going to put these into a bowl. So they're all cooked and ready to go. Now while this is cooking down, we want to do some flavor agents here for the escarole itself. And you see how nice this is wilting. It's going to take about, 3 or 4 minutes. So what do we want with this? Well, we want to have some onion. So here is just a red onion. So we want about, a half of an onion will do. And then with that, we want some chopped garlic and a little bit of hot red pepper. And we also want to have some olives. And here we're going to use black oil cured olives. And these are not pitted. So I like to use this neat little gadget. This is something in Italian called a schnocoliva. You simply put the olive in, and you see the pit comes right out. And sometimes you can just squeeze the olive and get the pits right out that way. But of course, you're going to have black fingernails after that. But if you didn't have a schnocoliva, you could just take it out with your hand. So we're going to be putting in some olives. Now let me get back to escarole here, because now this is wilted down. And I'm going to take this out now. And we need to drain this. So I'm going to put it back into the colander. And you see how nice it kept its green color. So back into the pan, we want to add some olive oil. Here we're using extra virgin olive oil. You want about 1/3 of a cup in a pan. And I'm going to put in the onion. Onion goes in. This is very quick and easy and wonderful served over bread. Stir this around a little bit. And then we have to squeeze out the escarole. So when it's cool enough to handle, and believe me, I've been in the kitchen long enough that I can squeeze this out with my hands without burning myself. Squeeze out most of the water, and then bring it over and put it onto a board. Look at how beautiful that is. So now you just want to coarsely chop this up, because this is going to go on top of bread. So just give it a coarse chop. When our onions are soft, and they're starting to smell soft now, so you want about 3 cloves of garlic. And then to give this a little bit of a kick, how about a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon of hot red pepper flakes? That goes in. Mix that all around. And when you see that the onions are starting to just take on a little color, what the Italians call a little bit of biondo, you can add back the escarole. In it goes all of the escarole. Mix this around beautifully. This is very fast once you have the beans all cooked and ready to go. Now we're going to give this a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, and now the beans. So there are the cooked beans. They go in. You mix this around, and now we want to give this a little extra olive oil because you know beans absorb an awful lot of oil. But look at how pretty that looks. So just a little extra olive oil. I started with about 1/3 of a cup, but you know, you have to use your head when you're in the kitchen. You have to gauge. And that looks wonderful. And it's all ready to go. Just a matter of putting it on the bread, just like so. Look, you put the beans over the bread, trying to be neat and tidy. Get a little bit of that escarole over the top. And if you want to add a little drizzle of olive oil, you can. Now this you're going to eat with a fork and a knife, obviously. Again, the beans over the top, some of that escarole. And look at how beautiful the color of this escarole is. It stayed absolutely wonderful. And there are two beautiful looking escarole and bean bruschetta for you to enjoy.